All right, well, hey there. Welcome to part 3 of the balcony build. I'm sitting here in my old school lawn chair out here on the mostly finished balcony. This video will be about doing the railing, the posts and the railings, and the decking. So, without further ado, let's get started. So to help hold my trim joist in place as I fastened it, I just went ahead and put two 2x4 blocks here, and then I did the same thing down the other end, and that way I was able just to set this on it and screw it in. Now I've got I do need to get some more screws in it. I just have a few in there just to hold it, but it's not structural, so I'll just get that later. I ran out of them, and want to make a list and get several things at once when I go to the store. Well, as you can see, it decided to snow during the middle of my build project. I just go, oh, there goes some folks sliding down the hill. I went ahead and placed a few of the deck boards up there, so they're handy and in place. It will take a few more, obviously, and then I'll be picture framing it. But yeah, so that is what it looks like in January in North Georgia when it snows on your balcony while you're building. Decided I'm going to go with a 2-inch overhang for the picture frame, so that piece is just laying up there, and I'm going to cut the 45 on it, just using my balcony as a workbench. I'll cut the 45 there, and I can flip one piece over, and those two pieces will fit together. So it's going to be, I think, 51 inches. It's going to go down on this side here. And with the 2-inch overhang, then I won't have to rip this. It's going to be the best use of my time and wood. I've got some blocking in here, so the side piece with the 45 on it is going to come out to about there, and my posts fit in here, and then this is for cross blocking to bolt into the posts. So well, let me get this piece cut here with the 45, and we'll be in business. I just want to show you something here. If you don't have a miter saw to cut these 45s, and this is the same piece, I'd cut it and then just flipped one over. They were cut, of course, before they were fastened down. But go ahead, and you can do this on either side, but clamp, or you could screw down a piece of wood to use as a fence, so you get a nice straight angled cut, nice straight line. Did that on this end, and it turned out great. And down the other end, I freehanded it, and you can tell, but I mean, it's all right, but it doesn't look as nice as this one. To figure out where my notches are going to go in the deck boards for the railing posts, I go ahead and we'll go top side too, but I've got my outer edge set. I've got some scrap in there, and then I can draw my lines. Now this one's lifted up, is why it looks kind of off and wompy. So then I'll take these out and use my buzz saw to cut out the notches for the post. When you scribe out where your posts are going to be, you're going to have two blind corners where you can't scribe because the post is there. So you can only get like one side, and then you can use a square, or you can take a piece of scrap and fit it in there so you know where you're gonna finish out your notch. Okay, so it is the first day of March and it is windy. It is coming in like a lion, so I'm having to do my takes in between wind gusts. So anyhow, after you notch it out, you'll end up with that. So let's take this top side and see how it all fits. Okay, well, all in all, not too bad. Again, a miter saw is going to do a much better job than doing it with a circular saw, unless you screw down a fence to it. The inner ones, these scrap little dummy pieces that for where the post will be up against the house, leave those in because you won't really know where that board is going to lay until you work all the way back to it. So then you can so you can trace that out and then pull that out as well. Okay, here's something I did on the corners to make sure they don't warp and pull apart, because they will. It's pressure treated wood, and being out in the weather here, and as it dries out, these things would warp and twist apart. So I ran a screw in at an angle like this to kind of lock those together and try to keep them from pulling up. Hey, something I'm trying here is I'm using flashing tape, this roll flashing, for two reasons. I had a bunch of it, and there is a tape made just for this as a barrier in between the joist and the decking. That stuff is just crazy priced, and man, I had this, so I'm going to try it and see what happens. I'm not saying this is what you should do, this is the way to do it. It's what I did, and I'm going to see how it holds up. Okay, so again, this is the temporary one that's just here so I can mark in my decking from the bottom where the posts are going to come up through, and until I get all the decking laid in up to this point, this is going to stay in. I've already got this one out, but you see I've got some blocking in here for my posts. You can probably see this stuff better from up front. So yeah, my post is going to be in here, and here's my blocking, and then I can let's see. Here's this one where, yeah, so, I got one screw, like I said, I'm running low on these. I'll get some more in, and then I got one screw coming in from that side, and then I'll put one of these ledger type screws in through here once I get the actual post. And mind you, I'm not going to do it to this because it's a temporary one, and it should hold the post in pretty strong. There's lots of people there's tons of videos out there on blocking in the posts to make sure they're strong, because I think it's like they gotta withstand 200 pounds of force, and that's a lot. So anyhow, I'm getting ready to lay this decking back down and start figuring out the post height so I can get a little bit of railing section in. Okay, so have all the deck boards tacked down. It's just on the ends and in the center, but I needed to do that where I was going to know where this one was going to rest, so I could get underneath and trace out where that post is going to come through. So go underneath, take a look at that, and then that can come out, and we can finally get some post and railing up. Before putting down the deck boards, go ahead and pre-drill the holes. It is extra work, and as you can see here, I've just got them kind of tacked in because I had more pressing matters to tend to, and you know, leave some space at each end, so they've got a little bit of room to breathe, and you know, eventually you'll have them all screwed down. And also, that's, you know, there's that that silver flashing tape that I used poking through, and honestly, to me, it looks fine. So that's that. Okay, so here we are underneath on the innermost post up against the house. So here's the temporary post in there just so I can trace out, as you see, and pull that back up and cut that notch out, and then go ahead and be able to get these posts in. The notch is cut in the piece of planking decking that goes up against the house, and it's nice that it worked out. I didn't have to rip cut anything. Now this is these posts, railing posts, are only going to be temporary for two reasons. I've got to fix the wall here, replace this masonite siding with hardy plank, and put OSB in behind the wall here and the whole wall there. There's only one random piece, if you remember me mentioning, just in the middle, and it needs to go the whole way to stiffen up that whole corner. And then honestly, not long after I get this video done, and I'm just putting railings up on the corners here just to show that, I'll be putting a roof on over this, so they'll be replaced with much longer posts. But anyhow, let's get these little placeholders out and get some posts in and get some railings going. Okay, to get my railing height set and my post length, two things I'm doing. So I've set these 4x4 scraps here, which are 3.5 inches tall, because your railing can't be any spaces with the railing can't be any more than 4 inches. So 3.5 is good. It has us you know, below the maximum. So this space can't be any bigger than 4 inches, and this space can't be any bigger than 4 inches. So I set that, and look here, there is a mark on the wall, so that lets me know how high my railing is going to be. And that and then what I do is I measure. So what I do is I want to be, there's the top of my railing. I want to be, you know, at least 4 inches up above the top of the railing too, just for aesthetics and balance. And then they'll get caps put on them. So measuring from the bottom of the pocket, and that's where people, that's where you can mess up, is you forget, you know, you cut your post at the top of the railing, and well, oops, now you've got to add 4 inches to it. So what I've done is, I know that was 49 inches right at that top of that little channel right there, and I just decided to go I think, what I do, 49 or 50, and that way I'll have that much sticking up above the top of the railing, and put a cap on it, and you know, it'll look, you know, nice and balanced and everything else. Now, I'm not fighting gravity the whole time putting the posts in. I went ahead and put some blocks at the bottom of the holes where the posts will go, and they can rest on that while I plumb them and level them into place. Okay, I got 4 posts in here for right now. And that's all I'm worried about because, like I said, I'm going to be having to haul up OSB to fix this wall and do this siding. So I'll open that side up just right after I shoot this video so I can haul up the OSB and such. These shims are up at the top level, but you want to make sure it's shimmed down in where you have where your blocking is, where the actual real support for the posts is going on. And, like I said, also, I'm not going to get too crazy with these because I am going to pull them out, and taller ones are going to go in here because I'm putting a roof over this, which will be another video. Let's see about getting some railings on this. All right, so getting ready to get these railings cut and put in. So I am, again, using the blocks to rest it on. It's got me at 3.5 inches, so again, that's good. Making sure I'm level, and also checking the spacing between the last railing, or the last baluster, I guess it is, the last upright, and the post to see if they're reasonably close to each other. If it was right on the edge of one, you would probably want to cut from both ends to get the spacing between the uprights and the post the same. Otherwise it's gonna look bad. I'm just scribing it on that side, and I'm gonna cut that and use my brackets and get this in place. Okay, so I have the railing cut and mocked up in place, resting on those 4x4s, and getting ready to put the brackets on. So I've just eyeballed where the center is and just traced around the railing, and then what I'll do is pull that out. Then here's the bracket here. So what I'll do is, see, all these screws actually go through. It's just like a joist hanger. It's a plastic joist hanger. They go through the railing itself, but this bottom one is so you can get it in place and started. So and I'll probably, I will pre-drill that too, just so I keep it where I want it. Okay, to help hold this in place, so it doesn't move around when I'm just going to pre-drill this bottom hole. And thankfully, these screws are actually a Torx. I think they're probably a Torx 20. I'm going to pre-drill all these out, and then we'll just drop the railing, put in this bottom screw on all the clamps, and drop the railing in and get these side screws in. With the 4 clamps in place with the bottom screw, you just get it over the top. You got to kind of finesse it in because, these brackets are plastic, so they might be squeezed in a little bit, but you just get it in place. And see, I pulled one out. Let's see. Show you what I'm talking about. Here we go. So they will tend to kind of do this a little bit and then just whoosh. There they go. All right, so now I'll get my 4 side screws in there, and I am kind of running out of light. I was hoping to get this section. In down here, and if I plan this right, with my leftover pieces, after I cut this one, I think that piece is going to fit right there in the middle. Now, the overall dimensions I went with for the balcony, essentially it's 4 feet by 12 feet. The framework, the structure, made for the least amount of waste. Was able to use full planks with just cutting a little bit off the end. Same thing with all of the framing and such, multiple joists out of each piece. And when it came to the railings, this was just 2 railing sections to get from there to here. And these things, they're 6 feet. That's like $90 a piece. So $90 got me to here. Now there will be some waste in that. I'm going to have about another section about that big left over. I'm going to have to get 2 more railing sections to get around here, and we'll end up with that left over. And actually that, but it's not something I can splice together to make, just not going to do that. Anyhow, this is the other thing I was mentioning about spacing and checking it. See, if I went and just stuck my drop in like this, I'd have an upright real close. Well, I'd have an upright like an inch away, and then I'd have one like half an inch, and that's just not gonna look good. So basically just gonna kind of eyeball these things to get about the same amount of space on each side, and then cut off of each end, and then I can get this center section in. Oh, and the other thing I was going to say, I cannot wait till I get all of this mess. I'm done with this project, so I can tear off this bottom deck and get a dumpster in here and get all of this stuff hauled away. It looks terrible. Okay, this is future me. I did have some time before finishing this video to actually get going on replacing the siding and getting OSB. God, that old light is up there rattling. Getting OSB behind this whole wall. Making some repairs, some things I saw I didn't like in the original framing, and getting my flashing in place. So finally it's time to get some siding on. Oh yeah, and speaking of flashing, you remember all this is all getting, this whole nasty door and threshold, all that stuff's all getting replaced, but it is there as a reference point. I go ahead and I like to put flashing around the door, and also where I've got my corner boards. And this is wrapped around because this is the old wooden original stuff here, and that's going to get pulled off, and there's some repairs that need to happen on the other side. So this is so that the Tyvek house wrap wraps around the corner and seals good and goes around to the other side. So that'll when I pull all this off, this will just be there available, and I can just wrap it around and continue on and overlap. Oh, and I decided to also add a outlet, and since there's an outlet like right on the other side of the wall over here, I'm just tying into that, so can have an outlet out here on the balcony. I think that'll be a nice little feature. All right, well, that does it for part 3 of the balcony build series. There will be more coming. I'm going to put a roof on over this, and these posts will be replaced with tall posts for the roof, and I will be putting privacy louvers on here, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and grab your morning coffee or beverage of your choice and smash it down on your like button. Please
subscribe, comment, and share. And I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.